G'day fellas, and welcome to a Beyond All Reason video that I probably shouldn't be posting. And that's because the strategy I'm about to show you, it's going to upset quite a few people. And the reason why is because it's kind of broken. So let's talk about exactly what that is. This video is going to be in 3 different parts. The first part, we're just going to be looking at a game where we've utilized the strategy. It's a decent lobby that we've got here, kind of mixed. We've got a pretty strong enemy backline here, OS40. Our backline's pretty strong as well. The second part is going to be a build order overview, and then the third part is just going to be like a tactics component that you can use with this strategy. So I've actually been asked not to post this strategy just simply because of how strong it is and the fact that people can't find a counter to it. So let's talk about what it is. So I first and foremost want to shout out Interclub. Interclub has been talking with me behind the scenes about lots of different strategies, and one of the strategies he came to me with was a Geo seaplane rush. Now, we've done rushes from Geo before with seaplanes, but we've never done it as fast as the one that he had hypothesized. So anyway, we refined it, we got it down, and I was starting to think, what if we did this in the eco position instead? And now you see where the problem is. The problem lies in this right here. Eco is expected to just kind of chill out for the first, 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes. They hand out T2. They don't have a lot of impact in the game. The front is going to be contributing units towards the front. The Geo is going to be backing them up about 4 or 5 minutes. Pond is going to be trickling out units. The seas are going to be fighting. Air is going to be making air units. And Eco is just going to be doing, well, nothing really. So that's essentially where the problem lies in this strategy, is because a whole lot of force is coming out from the eco position in a really short amount of time. And on top of that, we hit the enemy with an incredibly powerful seaplane attack and then get into T2 immediately after it. Our T2 time is still very competitive with this strategy at about 7 minutes flat. The striking for the seaplanes, not the T-planes, the seaplanes can be before 6 minutes. So let's get into it and just watch and take a look at what we've got here. So early stages, it's a pretty simple opening. You'll see I've got the blueprint down here. The defenders or the anti-air turrets here are here to represent the nanos that will be going down. So we're going up to, typically I go anywhere between 20-24 wins. We get some wind storages in. And you can now see we've got our first construction turret, or first construction unit that's coming out here. Let me turn up this audio just a little bit. And we've got a Hercules from our ally. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this constructor out. He's going to build the nano, and then going to come across over here where he's going to do some more building. Now, I will say that people have called this strategy, because I will say right now, I've played this in, I think, 7 games. I've won every single one of them, and the same comments come out most of the time, that it's a cheese, right? That it's kind of like an unexpected strategy where you're able to take advantage of your opponent because they weren't expecting it. But one of the interesting things about this is I got a message after one of the games that they were playing, or that we played, and the person said, I can't think of any way to possibly counter that other than the enemy doing the exact same thing, but making fighters instead. And so that's what we're looking to take advantage of, because seaplanes are particularly overpowered. I suspect they're probably going to get nerfed. They're that good. The other thing with this strategy, there's nothing communist about it. So you don't need to borrow units. You don't need to ask for any feed or anything like that. The only thing that you're asking for is a Hercules or an Atlas from your ally, just because you will need to do a bit of movement. So our builder, our construction bot, is going to come down towards this pond here. We're at the 3-minute 40 mark. We've gone out, we built the metal extractor, and now we're coming out to build our shipyard, which is where we will build our construction ship, and then we will build our seaplane platform from there. If we take a look over at the enemy Geo, you can see that he's probably spending a little bit too much metal on things, right? Like, we don't need for construction turrets, definitely don't need all this wind. Our main goal is just to get to T2 and just to start pumping out those T2 constructors so that we can get our T2 AMEXs online. So we're now using the Hercules to transfer all of these down the similar way that happens on the sea. So often you'll see our sea players, they'll build the nano in their base and then they'll transfer it out over here with the Atlas. So we're looking to do that same thing. And so now we're building the constructor, and we're going to reclaim this lab, making sure that we're able to keep enough metal in the bank here. You can see it's important to reclaim with the construction ship, and then we're going to be dropping down our shipyard. Now, at this point right here, we've basically said to our ally who's playing air, hey bud, could you just make a whole bunch of fighters? Like, that's essentially it. Like, make a whole bunch of fighters, just get ready, because we're going to do an attack. That's pretty much it. We've blown the comm. We're about to inject a whole bunch of metal into our seaplanes here. And what's so great about seaplanes is that you're not paying a huge amount for the lab. So if we take a look at how much the lab costs, it's $14.50, right? $14.50. If you compare that over to the air opponent or our air ally, $3,200 metal. So you're paying less than half for these. Now, there's something that's really, really good about the seaplane bomber. I'd recommend that you do this with ARM just because the Tsunami seems a little bit better than, I think, is it the Dam Buster that the core get? The bombs just feel to drop, they drop a little bit better. There's something really absolutely broken with these. And that is that they have the ability to nuke a building. What I mean by that is that nothing is left. Often, if we were to run 20 T1 bombers over the top of this, it would leave a wreckage. And then you could just come along and res it. And it would be back online within 30 seconds, 60 seconds, depending on how many res bots you've got. What's so powerful about this is that you absolutely annihilate the buildings that you're attacking. So that's essentially it. So what we're going to do is we're going into 6 tsunamis here, and then we're going into a horizon. We're also, behind the scenes, going to be setting up for our T2. So our T2 comes out at pretty much identical timing here with the exception for the air player. So the air player is going to be delayed slightly, but the good news is we're going to kill the enemy air player, so it kind of balances out. So we drop down the metal storage. We'll look to get out a single horizon here, and let's ride on board from our opponent and see exactly what they see. So at this stage, their scout didn't see anything, but they do now start to see that air coming through. Somebody on the enemy team, their best player, knew that I was going to be up to something cheeky because I've actually done this strategy to him before. He just wasn't sure what it was going to be. So our main goal here is that we're looking to hit Geo first. We want to always hit Geo first because they're going to be putting out the pressure on front. We're at 6 minutes 40 here, so there should be some good units. So what we're going to do is just look to completely annihilate their lab. So we're making sure that we just target down their T2 labs, and as you can see, it's just gone. Like there's literally nothing left. They're not rezzing it. It's not coming back. Our ally, we've told him, hey, bring your fighters in. And the good news is we're now going to be killing his ally as well. He's got a hardened turret here. It's not going to matter. All of the energy's gone, all of the build power with the exception of the one, and the lab completely gone. Not able to get anything back online. T2 on the enemy side, bad luck, mate. It is, it's gone as well. You can see it's left a little bit of wreckage there because we did lose that one seaplane here. And I always like, for the eco player, I always like to come back and just give them a second round. You want to hit the lab, and then you want to hit their economy as well. But unfortunately, we kind of pulled out a little bit early here, but we still did some decent damage, but definitely not enough. We could have gotten quite a lot of extra damage in from here. We're at the 7 minute 30 mark. We're about to go hit pond. You can see we've got a nice little split up right here. We've only got the 3 tsunamis left, but just taking a look back over at the other side, and you'll see right here. You can see in the chat, bro, I called it. It's also 2 op man. Another op double air strat. Rest in peace, Drongo Fest. So yeah, it's a decent strategy. But I think what makes it so good is that not only are you dishing out the damage on the enemy, but at the same time, you're still ecoing behind it, right? Like, we could have just kept the seaplanes and kept spamming out fighters and look to try and get air superiority, but the idea is that we still want to make sure that our team is not hurt by our actions. And you can see yesterday saying he did this yesterday with DRM. Soon the meta is going to be air, 3 players air at 5 minutes. And I think, look, there's definitely a world where that makes sense. I can honestly see a world where maybe Geo goes seaplanes and Eco goes seaplanes, and you have like triple seaplanes. I'm not even kidding you. They're that damn strong. As I said, I think they're going to get, they'll get nerfed almost certainly. But anyway, let's just speed it up a little bit from here because we're not going to watch this entire game. You've seen exactly what it's all about here at this stage. This is it. In the end, obviously we win this game, but we still hand out our T2. So just to speed it up a little bit, you'll see now we're going to hand our T2 off to air. So this T2 is delayed significantly for our air player, but this whole time he's been scaling BP, he's been scaling his energy, scaling his metal as well. So the moment that the T2 comes down, he's going to be okay. We kind of put it in the wrong position right here, so you'll have to forgive me. KRTF saying, Drongo, if you feature my death in 4K, I'm like I'm subbing to your channel, bro. Sorry, bro. We chose violence, indeed. So essentially that's it. And then from here, we're looking to hand out T2s, and just to speed it up, so we're handing off to C, handing off to Pond. Pond's already got his. We're handing off to Beach C, and then we're going to do ours. And then behind this, we're going to make some butlers, and we're going to look to reclaim our lab as well, which is when we can potentially look to go into a fusion after that. But behind this is all like, we're obviously coming online a little bit late at this stage, but the amount of damage that we've done is obviously immense. So that's pretty much it at this stage. I mean, we can take a look here, but you can see like we're basically double the stats of the enemy team. They've had a couple people leave because of this. So let's move into the next phase of the video. We're going to go through the build order, then we'll go through the tactics and just have a little bit of a chat about it in the third part. Okay, so let's just take a quick look at the build order. It'll be something that you'll be familiar with, at least the opening that you would have seen before if you've seen any of the eco builds that we do. We start with a pretty strong opening here, which is where we throw down a whole bunch of wind, and we basically look to make our storage as soon as we're going to be overflowing wind, which is normally, if you're sitting at max wind, it's close to 4 and 5 winds. So always I like to get this kind of opening. I'm still exploring openings where we don't go to the storage, but I just kind of like the storage because if you do wind stall, you're always going to be safe with a little bit of storage. So from here, we've put down a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 winds, and then we've got our storage. We put our lab down, 2 Lazarus in the queue, followed by... got 3 construction bots here. That's not correct. It should be 2 construction bots. Don't worry. I'm sure that's a mistake, and we'll fix that one up. And then from here, we're getting down. We're just filling in the winds. That's the key that we're looking to do here. Yeah, there you go. You can see we fixed it up. So we do 2 Lazarus, 2 construction bots, and then followed by a 3rd Lazarus. So a total of 3 Lazarus that come out. So here we're looking to get our construction turret down after the first one. The first one will come up to the top. Look to get that mechs down, and will then come out over towards the pond. The second one is about to come out, so this guy will be handed off to our ally. So we'll drop down 1, 2 construction turrets, and you can see all we're doing right here is just making sure that we're juggling our build power. 3rd Lazarus is going to come out. He's going to eat our bot lab, then go and do a little bit of tree reclaiming. With regard to our Lazaruses as well, we actually want to avoid sending them to this energy patch. So you've got an energy patch here. You want to eat the rocks, but don't eat this energy patch. And that's because you'll bring your con turrets in here, and if you do run low on energy, you can just eat these trees. So this is a mistake here. So instead, just send this guy up here, and then this guy can eat the rocks and then come around here. So that's the way I like to do that. And then we're also looking to put in storages. Really, really important to get these storages up. We want to aim for 2 storages, and then as we're getting ready to walk, we should add in our 3rd storage. So here you can see that we haven't done any utilization of our stalk until 3 minutes 30. That's the first moment that we're using this. So we're not even moving our constructor with the stalk. We're just all doing it the good old-fashioned way here. We're going to put down the shipyard as well. And meanwhile behind this, so if we take a look, you've got a total of 23 winds that we've put down. We're putting down a couple of energy converters, and we're also going to put down 1 final storage in this position. So I've been testing with different ways just because I've been bombed in a couple of games, and I did lose a lot of wins where I've been like spreading them out a little bit. So I would encourage you to do that as well. But obviously it's going to take a hit to your efficiency when you do that. Our second construction turret gets brought out here, and we're then going to start a shipyard, and we always want to shift queue these up. So we shift queue, build the construction ship, and then we reclaim. And we always want to make sure that we reclaim with the construction ship so that he's got his little nozzle out, and then he can immediately put down your seaplane platform. He doesn't have to do the magic, even though that took a really long time for us to do. And then, so meanwhile behind down here, as soon as that seaplane platform is down, we're going to get our commander to blow. So you can see we're actually building a 7th energy converter. It wasn't necessary because we needed to get our commander to walk. So about 4 minutes 30 was when we blew. And then of course the Lazarus is going to eat it. Be very careful with your Lazarus as well, because you will overload or overflow. So you do need to pull him off. And then we're going to queue up 6 tsunamis, and we're going to queue up the 1 horizon. So I always like to send out the horizon before my tsunamis, and I kind of always just like to have him ahead, and I always like to send him out in between the Geo and the C player. So if you can get him in like that, and then you just want to kind of scout out the back line and the pond and just try and get an idea on where those labs are, because labs are really what you should be going for, as well as obviously the eco. I'll show you a little tactic that you can use that I found really, really nice with these bombers. Just because I think bombers, they're a little bit more advanced when it comes to micro. So we'll get into that a little bit later. So from here, obviously, there's nothing further that's going on here. We've got the 23 wins. We've got the everything, the 3 storage, the 6 energy converters. I've just realized that my screen is not full screen, or not as full screen as it could be. So I've just gone to fix that up for you guys. And so here, now that we've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we've got the horizon that's about to come out. So what I like to do is I will rally this out, so you can see across like that. So just get a nice little rally point. Another tip is always rally towards the pond, because the horizon will come down and it will land in the pond, and then you can always use it later to scout. And then so from here, We're going to send the tsunamis forward. I like to take them off land and put them onto fly, because if you put them on land and you just right-click somewhere and they go to it, they'll lose all their momentum. Whereas if you've got them on fly, they will maintain that momentum. Behind the scenes, we put down our metal storage. We're then reclaiming our seaplane platform. We'll then put all that metal into the advanced bot lab, and then we'll put it into the metal storage. Meanwhile, back at the front, we are looking to attack. Now, IndaClub's got a little bit of a different mindset from me with this playstyle. He suggests that it's probably best to attack the front 2 players and then hit the Geo player, whereas I was actually thinking it's probably better, in my mind, and who am I to argue with him? He's like OS 66 or something, but in my mind, I found more success by hitting the Geo player first, and that's because the Geo player often has the resources to react, whereas other players don't. So if you delay hitting the Geo player, basically you're encouraging them to like, hey, build anti-air, bro. Whereas if you just hit them immediately, they've got no response that they can really give to you. So that's essentially what I found. Meanwhile, behind here, you can see that the timing that we're looking for, it is about a 7-minute T2 lab, which is not bad when you consider the fact that we've hit the enemy with a whole bunch of tsunamis at the front. And behind the scenes, we're still able to hit a 7-minute T2 lab and start handing out those T2 cons. So that's the build order. That's the strategy that I probably shouldn't be showing you, but I'm going to show it anyway, because as I said, I think the meta is probably really going to start shifting towards seaplanes. They're so absolutely broken, and I just feel like people aren't using them anywhere near enough. Let's jump into the third part of this video, which is where we talk about tactics. Okay, so now we're at part 3 of this video where we talk about tactics. So I've got myself set up over here with my little base, and this is the enemy base. It's not really, it's our base, but it's essentially what the enemy base will look like about the time that you're going to attack. So we're going to talk about some techniques that you can use when you go and attack, and just some different ways that you can control your tsunamis. Tsunamis are one of the most rewarding micro units. If you've got good micro, then you're going to get great value from tsunamis. So ideally what we want to do is have them all stacked up on each other. We don't want them all on the exact same pixel, but we want them all very close together like this. And one of the ways that we can do that is just by having them turn a nice tight turning radius like that, and eventually they will stack up on top of each other. I always like to spread them out just a little bit. So just something like that. You can see right here that one of our tsunamis has fell behind, and that's because we didn't have it on fly. So we need to switch it from land to fly, because if that happens, what's going to happen, or what will happen, is when they reach their destination, they'll stop, they lose all of their momentum, and then you got to get the turbo boosters going again. So make sure you always switch it over to fly when you're doing your attacks. You can definitely turn them back over to land if the enemy has potential AA or something like that. So once you've got them all in a stack, what you want to do is then, it's quite easy to focus a single target, because all you're going to do is just press A on your keyboard and then hit that single target. But one thing that I've really been doing quite a bit of is holding down A and right click at the same time, or just clicking A and then doing right click, and that allows you to do a drag like this, and that's going to allow you to get a bit better coverage. So you can see some of them didn't fire then. That was because we are too close to the target when we did it. Let's turn up our volume a little bit. So if we get a little bit further away, so just something like this, you can see that's going to give us really good coverage, and that's great when you're attacking fronts. So let's talk a little bit about our general idea about exactly how we want to do this. So we want to come out of the gates, and when we do that, we want to have a horizon that will come ahead of us, and we want to do that scouting path with it. The main reason why we want to attack the Geo player first is just because they've already got that T2 lab up, so we want to try and come in for it. When you are attacking, one of the things that you need to be very aware of is that you've got a little bit of a cooldown timer. So if we come in and we attack this lab right here, and then we go over here and we say, okay, now we're going to go and attack this T2 lab, but you'll see that we can't actually do that because we've got a timer, and so we've gone past it. So one of the ways that you can actually mitigate that, if we get our planes out here, I'll just speed up the game just a little bit so that we get out over into position a little bit sooner. So one of the ways that you can mitigate that is just by doing like a little bit of a fly around. So just to show you what that looks like, so you'd come in here and you would blow up the lab once again. And then instead of flying directly at the enemy T2 lab, you come in, do a little bit of a fly around like that, and you'll get a really good sense for it after a little bit of time, and then you'll just come in and make sure you do your bombing. So whenever you're bombing a T2 lab, you want to make sure that you hit all of those bombs on the same spot. Now, normally when it comes to like players like this, you really want to just come in, and I think you just want to hit the Geo spot and then come down and hit the lab or the air player as well. But one of the things that I've been finding is I often want to go back a second time for certain players. The Eco is a great example of that because often they've got a nice, really big build-up. So I'll come in and I'll do this. I'm going to slow it down right now because I'm going to show you in slow motion how I'm going to, or what I'm going to do. So I'm going to bring my bombers out, and I know all of these positions, and I want to attack all of these. So what's the best way for us to do that? Well, what I like to do is I hold down A, or I hit A, hold down right click, and then I drag over all of the targets that I want to hit. And as you can see, you actually get a nice spread. What you can then do is do a bit of a spin around until you actually get everything where you want it. So you can see how I'm moving, and as I move, my dots come closer to the end. So we're going to do that same thing. We're just going to find the right spot. So there's the right spot. We're now able to hit 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4 of our spots. And once you get used to this actually becomes quite intuitive as well, because I think we're a little bit too close here. Sometimes the mountains muck us up, but it essentially allows you to have really good control over where the bombs land in the event that you've got a whole bunch of bombers and there's a lot of targets that are all kind of separated. So once again, we want to try and get everything nice and close together. The other thing to remember is when you are hitting labs, you want all your bombs to land at the same time, just because there's an ability for the enemy to repair. So here we go. We'll try and hit all of these targets here. So I'm just going to do something like that, and that's going to put 3 bombs here, and then we'll do 3 bombs there. So that will hopefully allow us to clear out all of the primary targets there on the enemy base. And you can, of course, do it for things like mexes. Makes it very easy to hit the mexes. And then, of course, over for frontline. So if you've got a lab, you can do something like this. And then that's going to hit 1 bomb here, 1 bomb here, and then a whole bunch on the lab. And hopefully it should take out the lab on the first point. And that way, you're able to actually clear out entire bases utilizing this method. And I'm a big fan of this. I think it makes a lot of sense. And then finally, just when you're clearing out fronts, you can go for just something like that, just to try and make sure that you get a really nice blend of attack. And you can see that we've done a pretty decent job clearing that front out there. So I think that's essentially it when it comes to the techniques. The other thing that I really like to do is, like, once you've gotten really good value out of your bombers, so I think, like, killing, to be honest, Geo's quite hard to completely kill, just because they often have build power. So they will have 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 4 nanos, and you can try and kill those nanos, but you'll typically be going for the T2 lab, and you need to make sure that that T2 lab dies. You don't want to give them the opportunity to potentially repair it up, so it's important that you just kind of focus it down. You can come back around a second time, but if you do that, you're going to buy time for the air player to potentially get more fighters out, so you want to kind of go down there as well. But one thing to remember is that when you are killing the Geo player, that you need to be cautious if they do have the advanced geothermal power plant up, because if they do, it will kill your bombers. And you need to remember that you're going to get a lot more value from your bombers, so that's not an advanced one. So we're able to kill that. You can see it does a nice little bit of damage over there. So if it's the advanced one, we don't want to kill it, just simply because I mean, you can kill it at the end, but just wait until the end is the best point I want to make. Just because one of the things I've been doing, and I think this is a pretty cool move, is once you've gotten your value from your bombers, taking them back to your base. If we speed it up a little bit here, let's throw down our T2 lab. So normally our T2 lab is going to go somewhere over here. And what's going to happen is typically, so we've got a lot of metal income at the moment. Let's grab all of these and do a Control D. So normally your metal income is going to be really low at this point in time. So what you can do, because you're only on like 2.3 mexes, you don't have your advanced mexes up yet, you're handing out your T2 to your allies. So what I like to do is just bring my tsunamis back, and I literally just reclaim them, because at the end of the day, it's like, it's 240 metal for each one. So if you can reclaim them, you're talking about 1400 metal that could then be going into build power, could be going into butlers, something like that. So at the end of the day, while you get your damage in, it's important that you get out and reinvest that metal elsewhere. So that's essentially it. That's the strategy that, well, I probably shouldn't be showing you. I don't know where the meta goes from here. I think we might do a 4th part to this video, because I just want to kind of theorize and talk a little bit more about it. Okay, so just to resume back into this game, and I just want to go over something that KRTF said in this game, and specifically, he said that he did this yesterday with DRM. I don't know what the counter is, other than invest a shit ton of metal into AA. Then he says, which is like, yeah, it's over, bro. So the truth is that you can invest into AA, right? If we look at this and take how much metal it is, 315. It's not a huge amount. This is not enough to deter us, right? Because we're going to come in, we're still going to hit everything, and then we're just going to get out. We might lose one bomber, but if we do that, and everybody does it, then eventually, you know, we're going to lose our army completely. But this is going to be, if we call this like something standard that people do, then all of a sudden, people are going to get greedy. There's going to be opportunities there. So I don't know if this is necessarily the right call. I think the best thing that you're going to be able to do against a strategy like this is just to try and scout it. So I think probably scouting pond at about 5 minutes is probably going to be the best thing. And the one key that you're looking for are the eco player and where their nanos are. So if you see the eco player with T2 in the base, you're fine. You know it's not going to happen. But if you see them with their nanos down here, and if you see a seaplane platform, or if you see the shipyard down here, then obviously you know something is up. And at that point, that's where you call out, okay, everybody build anti-air. You know, get the chainsaw down. That's probably the best if you can manage to do it, because like the chainsaw covers a huge amount of area. Honestly, if I see a chainsaw over on Geo, I'm not going to Geo. Like it happened in one game where I got scouted quite early, where I made a mistake. So basically, my front was getting pushed in. They were getting pushed up right here, and I said, "It's okay, I'll help." And I revealed all my bombers right here. I completely evaporated the enemy front line, and then I took my tsunamis down here and looked to come and hit Geo. By the time that I got to Geo, he had already got a chainsaw in this position right here. And I was completely deflected. I knew at that point, like, I could try and bomb the T2 lab, but if I do that, I'm probably going to lose 2, 3, maybe even 4 tsunamis. So it's just not worth it for me to go in there. I can probably get more damage in just attacking other players. And like, obviously I killed all the other players, but I couldn't kill that Geo player. So that's definitely a possibility. But then, you know, you do the math on that, 750 for all players, very much going to be quite expensive compared to what we're spending, which is about 1,400 metal. So definitely a good investment. So I think that a more appropriate response is just going to be scouting and then potential double air coming out, even from the eco player, even the Geo player. I'm not even kidding you. I was thinking about it, like maybe there's a world where Geo goes into air themselves, just to open up, like get a couple transports out, and then from there looks to go into T2. But it's definitely, like, keep in mind, this is obviously, I don't even really know how to say it, but it's obviously forever evolving. So this will be a conversation that continues to happen. But I do suspect this strategy is probably going to shake things up, at least in the higher OS lobbies. It is a bit more micro-intensive. But yeah, when it comes to counters, because the reason why it works so well, and just to explain a little bit, at the high level, the lobbies, the expectation for air is that you're going to provide metal to the eco player, and that eco player is going to get T2. Then he's going to put the blueprints for his mexes down, and then he's going to give you the T2. You're going to reclaim the lab. That's normally about 4 minutes, 35 minutes that you do that. You're then going to build all of your advanced metal extractors. Then you're going to build either a fusion, or you're just going to build your aircraft lab. That's going to take you a minute or two to do. And by the time that you've done that, we've already hit. So typically you're reclaiming your lab here. So I suspect we're probably going to see, at the very least, a little less greed out of the backline, knowing that this might be a possibility. I think we're going to see a lot more scouting, though. I suspect you might even get the people that have like one scout up here, one scout hidden here, one scout hidden here, because this is something that you can quite easily do. You can hide scouts and then just constantly be looking to check what that eco player is doing, or check what that Geo player is doing. Because I will say right now, you can actually do this from Geo. It's pretty powerful. The only trouble is you need to have a strong front to be able to do it, and if you do mess it up, you'll be quite far behind. But yeah, that's essentially it. So I'm curious what your thoughts are. If you've got any, feel free to leave them down below. Other than that, we'll leave it there, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching.